guys, good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host, Richard Bexon. Today, again, I'm still here up in Papagayo in Playa del Coco in our 8-bedroom villa. But I'm just basically getting ready here. We're going to go and do a podcast with Alejandro Castro. This is going to be a good one. Alejandro has done everything from being the head of marketing for the Costa Rican Tourism Institute to now running his own boutique hotel in Santa Cruz, Guanacaste. He's invested in multiple different properties, has done branding and marketing for a lot of different businesses. So we're going to focus kind of more on his advice on marketing, branding, and also running a property here in Costa Rica, as well as where he would invest in his favorite areas. Remember, guys, if you have any questions for Alejandro, all of his contact details are below. If there's anybody else that you'd like to see on our podcast, even if you'd like to come on it, I know it can sometimes be a little bit daunting coming on it, but this is never live. We pre-record them and we'll talk about everything, you know, from anyone that's invested in Costa Rica that would like to give some advice to anyone thinking, some of the questions, maybe even I can answer some of the questions on a podcast. But again, feel free to comment away. You can send me an email as well, info@investing@costarica.com, and I will answer anything and reply to all of the emails myself. Let's get straight into it. Hey, Alejandro, how are you doing?
Pretty good, thanks.
I really appreciate you making the time to join us on the podcast.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Not at all, not at all. Well, I mean, it's been an absolutely crazy 2 years. I know that we've been lunching and in contact for many, many years, but especially, you know, during the past 2 years, as it's really kind of impacted travel in a bad way and then also just a crazy way. But I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what surprised you recently?
Actually, right now, I think that the American market coming back, it's something surprising. Actually, we have a lot of airlift that is coming right back to Costa Rica, and mostly in the Guanacaste area, right? The interest of the people to get out of the big city and go to the beach, I think that that's something that we need to take advantage of, and it's a very positive and happy surprise to see this in certain coastal areas of Costa Rica.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, again, I mean, I think that a lot of the listeners probably already know, but like, I mean, tourism is the blood, you know, the life and blood of this country, especially in the coastal areas, especially in the northern, you know, coastal areas. So it's great to see that, because I spoke to someone yesterday who was saying that like things are starting to get back to normal, or the new normal.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that in some destinations, we still have a lot of destinations that are suffering, mostly the ones that depend in a higher ratio for European market that hasn't come back yet, as Americans are coming. But I think that we're on the right track. The country is well positioned. Our image is good, and we've been doing quite well during the pandemic. This is something that has been happening in the whole world. Everyone has to deal with the same issue, and no one knows how to deal with it. Or we're starting to learn how to deal with it. And I think that Costa Rica could be one of the positive players or good players of this match.
I completely agree. Well, I mean, a lot of people listening to this podcast, Ale, you know, are from all over the world, and they, you know, it's amazing the amount of people that I speak to and that I hear from that are looking to make investments in Costa Rica. I mean, as you mentioned there, Costa Rica positioned itself very well during the pandemic. I mean, why do you think it's a great place to invest? And also, who do you think should not invest in Costa Rica?
Okay, that's a good question. Regarding like why this is a good place, I think that just having the most stable, uninterrupted democracy of Latin America has a lot to say of the country. That gives you a lot of security. Also, we have a lot of different services for you to buy your property. We have a lot of realtors, lawyers, and a lot of people that are willing to help. And we have professionals in the area that are going to help you make a good decision and for your investment to be good. Also, the safety of the country, I think that it's something crucial. We have very safe touristic destinations. People do take care of tourists, and everyone knows how important they are for our economy. So I think that that's something good. And maybe they don't do it just to, okay, we're going to have more tourists and we're going to help. But the Costa Rican, as a Costa Rican, is very is very kind. We're talkative. We want the people that visit outside to feel welcome, and I think that's very important. Once you buy something, also like to have nice people helping you in any manner. And I think that location is very important. We are just 2 hours, 3 hours away from some of the main cities of the States. And that makes it easy to go back and forth. And also the airlift that we have right now, it's quite positive also. So I think that those are like three key aspects of why we could invest here. Who would not invest in Costa Rica?
Yeah, who should not invest? Who would you say to someone, yeah, probably Costa Rica is not the right place for you?
Someone that doesn't like paradise. No, just kidding. That's a very tough question. Actually, I'm a very pro Costa Rican. Maybe I could say something bad. If you don't like dirt roads in some amazing beaches, maybe you won't invest there. But that's why, like, one of the only issues or downsides that I see of this amazing country.
Yep. That's great. I mean, some of the other things like the bureaucracy sometimes, I mean, if you want stuff done like, really, really quick, you gotta, I mean, Costa Rica is a slower pace of life, and that's what attracts a lot of people. It's relaxed. It's not as slow as a lot of other countries, in getting stuff done. But I mean, it's, again, I think a lot of people do get frustrated here when they come here, and it's like the bureaucracy involved. But I mean, I think it's just, you just got to you got to have patience. I mean, Costa Rica is not a country to make an investment in if you don't have patience.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also, it's not, if you're building something with permits, you could go crazy because it takes a lot of time. But I think that the property is the country is worth the wait.
Yep. Well, let's just quickly jump over here to kind of marketing and branding, as I know that that's like really where you're strong. You were head of like the country's basically marketing over there at the ICT. You did an amazing job, branding Costa Rica. And I know that you've done it with a variety of different brands here in Costa Rica. But I mean, as it pertains to like tourism related businesses here, how would you go about getting yourself noticed? Because I do know that you do a lot of consulting work for a variety of different tourism companies here, but just businesses in general with that. I mean, how would you go about getting yourself noticed above everybody else?
Yeah, I think that there's a technical side to it, which obviously includes good SEO, SEM, making amazing blogs, using newsletters, and all the different tools that we have right now available. But on the content side or in the copy of what you're saying, I think that it's very important to be extremely honest with the audience, and also resembling to knowing to who you're gonna communicate this, right? So for example, depending on the market, Costa Rica is a country that has all sorts of different activities. Its nature is amazing and stuff. So you need to have a match the audience and what you're offering, and making sure that you're communicating the right stuff to the right people, right? So I think that being very honest and telling the right things to the right audience, it's where the key to success is. So I think that's very important, and knowing the owners, knowing the destination, knowing also the issues that we have as a destination, because we're not perfect, it makes it way more easier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've said this to you before, but thank you very much for everything you did for the country. You did amazing work there, kind of with the branding of Costa Rica. So thank you. I'm going to roll this in because I know that you're developing a new property in the Santa Cruz area, up in Guanacaste. Tell me about it, and like, how are you? I asked there, how would you go about getting yourself noticed? Through branding and marketing. So how are you doing it with this property? How are you going to differentiate this property?
Okay, this was a tough project because it's a property that my grandfather did in the 60s in Santa Cruz. Back in the day, we had terrible roads that you needed a true 4x4 to pass by, and maybe you didn't make it. They did this hotel, 50-room hotel, a semi-Olympic pool, and around maybe 4,000 square meter meeting space.
Wow.
In the 60s, in the middle of Santa Cruz.
I mean,
so it was.
Tell everyone where Santa Cruz is, just because I know a lot of people listening to this won't know where it is.
Yeah, Santa Cruz, it's when you're on your way to Tamarindo and Playa Grande, Flamingo, and all these beach destinations, it's like half an hour, 40 minutes away from there. And it's like right in the middle of the Guanacaste province, right? So it's a very strategic location. It's also like 40 minutes away from the airport. It's like 40 minutes to half an hour away from everything, basically. So it's right in the middle of Santa Cruz. So back in the day, everyone went there from San Jose, rode their 4x4s, and they went to these amazing beaches that were completely off the beaten path, and basically the whole beach for them. So it was very adventurous. It was people from San Jose went to Punta Arenas, the farthest, and my grandfather was doing a 50 hotel room in the middle of Guanacaste. So it was a little crazy. Then he did another property in Tamarindo. It's also called Viria, the Tamarindo area, which he sold in the 90s. And people told him in the 70s, "You're crazy. No one's gonna go to Tamarindo." Right
Guy.
now, yeah, right now I'm trying to do the complete opposite. I'm telling them people are telling me, "You're crazy, Alejandro. Santa Cruz is not a destination." And now I'm bringing them back to Santa Cruz. So that's the idea, and that's what we're doing. It's been very tough because we got this property and it was nearly abandoned. And we've been investing in it and making it nice. I also want to take advantage of it was a mid-century property. So I want to have some mid-century modern elements in the property, which we're working on. We're redoing all the gardens and it's been amazing. But to go back to the question, what I'm doing to differentiate this is making sure that we have going back in time and have some elements of this amazing property that was an iconic hotel in the middle of Guanacaste, middle of nowhere, as you want to see it. And also having these authentic experiences and taking advantage of the location. We're the folk city. We're one of the only folk cities, I think, in Latin America. There's not much cities that are actually, this is by law, it's called a folk city. Santa Cruz is Costa Rica's folk city. So I wanna, we have this title, but we don't have any tours or anything that shows what is the folk of the Costa Rican, right? And that's something that we're missing, not in Guanacaste, we're missing in the whole country. We need more cultural tourism. So I'm leveraging on this to position first the destination. Right now, sometimes I'm not even taking care of the hotel's marketing because I need to position a destination first. Let people know that in Santa Cruz, we do have things to do. We have amazing gastronomy. Everything is very local. And all the traditions, the marimba players, all the dancers, and everyone is basically based in Santa Cruz. And they're willing to show their culture and open this to tourists, but no one knows. So I'm focusing on this, and I want to show the treasure or hidden gem or however you want to call it, which is our culture. And most of the base of our culture comes from Guanacaste. The marimba is our national instrument. They also have the quijongos. They have carving with jicaros. Also, the pottery with Chorotega pottery is very popular. And I want to have everything in one place for people, for it to be accessible to people and understand this culture that we have, that it's very rich, and also help the people from Santa Cruz, which have been suffering in this pandemic. It's been tough for them. A lot of people lost their jobs, and I want to create also some opportunities near their houses and for them not to be traveling back and forth and stuff.
Well, I think that's amazing. You know, I mean, it's, you and I have discussed, you know, at length, kind of developing rural areas with tourism. I mean, I know that Italy did a great job with their ecoturismo over there, where they would have people move from the cities out to kind of more areas that were requiring, you know, like tourism projects, because it creates so much like economic wealth in these areas. It provides jobs. You know, these places need to buy locally as well. So good for you. And you know, I think Costa Rica does have a rich, deep culture. I was just talking with someone beforehand of like, it's amazing once you spend enough time here of just, you were like, I'm learning stuff about Costa Rican culture that I didn't even know. And, you know, Guanacaste is completely different than San Jose, which is completely different than the South. I mean, it's just so diverse here. And, you know, while Costa Rica is known for its beaches and, you know, it's kind of its wildlife and volcanoes, the culture here is so rich. You just need to kind of look at that. So bravo. I think you're about to start a trend here, and hopefully we'll see more and more of it here in Costa Rica.
Yeah, let's hope that this is successful.
Yeah.
I do believe that it has a lot of potential. And yeah, what you're telling is completely right. I challenge people to drive in Costa Rica for 2 hours and have everything stay the same food, the same people, the same weather, the same ecosystem, and I think that that's basically impossible. Only if you're stuck in traffic, but but yeah, everything changes a lot here.
Well, let's jump to kind of like more of a general question here. I mean, in your opinion, where do most people go wrong when, developing a property here in Costa Rica, in your opinion?
I think that something, and maybe if you're coming from abroad, permits, I think that making all the work before developing the property is very important, because you need to have like the right lawyers, the right people that are gonna help you to do the permits. If you're doing a permit from the States or from another destination, it could be a hustle, and at the end it could be a challenge for the property. So I think that making all the due diligence and all the work before you start, it's very important, and that's something where things could go wrong. And it could save a lot of money.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, sometimes, even architects, like I've worked with some people before looking at architects, and they're like, wow, and designers, they're like, wow, that's kind of a lot of money to spend. But it's like, look, you're investing it now, not to spend it later. Because I did a podcast yesterday with Mario, as a model from Loop Design, and he was saying that like it costs a lot less to erase a wall on paper than it does in real life. So, spend the time and the money on the design phase, because it'll make the rest of it move very, very quick. So I think that's great. Let's talk, Alejandro, about your favorite areas in Costa Rica to visit. I mean, what are they?
Well, that's a tough question, because as you well know, I'm a passionate Costa Rican that loves the destination. And I'm also a surfer, so I have a slightly preference for the beach destinations. So I love the Guanacaste area for sure. That's a place where I grew in my childhood. I was a lot of my time I spent it in Tamarindo area. So for me, the beaches of Guanacaste are out of this world, and I love them.
Give me your 2 favorite beaches in Guanacaste.
Playa Negra for sure.
Yeah, I love Playa Negra.
And Witch's Rock, I'd say.
Yeah, Witch's Rock.
Magical place. Yeah. Those are like magical places. And then the Osa Peninsula is also out of this world.
What about
what else?
What about the main? If you were to go somewhere, let's say you were looking for like a mountain kind of style like weekend, where would you go in Costa Rica?
Okay, there's a place that it's not touristic at all, but it's very special for me, that it's called Ojancha.
Yep.
Just that they haven't had any homicides for around 20 years.
Wow.
So no one has been murdered in Ojancha for around 20 years. So I think that's very special. And also the way they preserve their nature, and it's very, very, very special. And also I love like the Providencia, San Gerardo area, just having the Sabeque River, and it's amazing to see how clear the water is, and so that's another destination. But
I don't know whether I mentioned, but I'm developing a property at the moment in San Gerardo.
Oh, I didn't know that. Amazing.
Yeah, I'd mentioned it on a couple of podcasts back, but I bought like 4,000 square meters down there. So putting some small cabins on it.
Wow, that's amazing. I'll need to visit. But yeah, I actually right now in the pandemic, I've been moving around the country. I've been going to a lot of destinations, trying to see the reality, the cool reality of the touristic destinations, and also like to put, as we say here, la granito de arena, right? Like on the reactivation, right? Like trying to support by staying. I think that it could be like a very small push, but at least making sure that I tell people I went to this place, is amazing, go and move from one place to another, and also showing people that it's safe to travel within Costa Rica during the pandemic, right? So yep. I think that we need to continue moving and continue hoping for good things to come.
I agree.
I'm missing some areas, but in general terms, I love Costa Rica. And Chiripo, I think that it's one of the best hikes that I've done so far. And the fifth area, it's Cocos Island.
I've never been, but it's
it's been one of the maybe my top 3 trips. Coco, it's top 3 for sure.
Wow.
And yeah, just the connection that you have with nature there, being completely off the beaten path. Actually, I went during 2020 during pandemic. So
How long did it take you to get there?
We were alone. It's like 36 hours, I guess. Yeah.
36 hours on a boat, just heading out. And this and the 2020, it was quite calm, but I've been in other occasion and it wasn't calm. so yeah, it moves, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it. The experience, the connection that you have with the ocean and all the creatures that you see there. And yeah, and in 2020 we were completely alone. We were the only boat in the island, so it was even more special. Wow. Yeah, I had Daniel Loria on this a while back, and he'd actually gone out there, and he said it was one of the most amazing places he's ever been on the planet. So yeah. I got to get out there sometime. If you were looking to invest in Costa Rica over the next 5 years, Alejandro, talking just about a pure investment, where would you make an investment?
I think I would have done it.
But like over the next 5 years.
A year ago in Guanacaste for sure. But I would say that's a tough question, because with this pandemic, you never know. This was such a surprise, right? So I don't want to give you like a very incorrect answer. Well, but
if you maybe let me ask my next question. If you had $500,000, because I think it might go into the same way. If you inherited $500,000 and you had to invest it into a business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you do with it and why? And don't say your Santa Cruz property, because I know it probably would go there. But like, what else would you do with it?
Yeah, if it's in real estate,
it could be a business or real estate, either or.
Okay, if it's real estate, I'll do it in Santa Teresa, Nosara, or Tamarindo, which are booming, and it's. I think that the price won't go down in a while.
Yep.
If it's a business, I would put some money in some very interesting startups that are working right now, which is a challenge. And maybe I'll get it wrong, but if it's not some money that I need to leave, I'll do it. Yep. So I would invest in a startup in Costa Rica.
Good for you. Well, Alejandro, this has been absolutely amazing. I'm actually in Playa del Coco at the moment, up here in Papagayo. So we're not too far from Santa Cruz, but I just want to really thank you very much for your time, Alejandro. This has been great. I think anyone that wants to reach out to contact you. Again, I don't know anyone that has as much knowledge and experience as you as in kind of marketing and branding a country, but also, travel and tourism related products here. So anyone that wants to contact Alejandro, I'm going to put all of his contact details in the description. And Alejandro, I really appreciate your time, sir.
That's great. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And it's been amazing to chat with you for a little bit.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Alejandro.
Okay, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.